This not yet mature episode forms part of a live recording. Our keynotes and public speaking events are recorded and also made publicly available through our podcasting channels. The audio quality and volume might be substandard due to the day's AV setup, and we apologize for this. Our live sessions are aimed to a physically present group and often delivered in the tone of the day and a wider topic. That being said, welcome, thanks for being here, and welcome to Not Yet Mature.
Yeah, I think, that's much better. If you want to, you can put on my backtrack. I'll start singing now, and we'll just get the crowd going with that. So, everybody, welcome here today. My name is Dion. So, ironically, from the whole panel here today, I'm the only one from sales. I have not a clue what to do with marketing, but I work with marketing close hand every single time on every single project. And I thought to myself, okay, first of all, why did they need me here today? And then second of all, why am I going first? And then I thought to myself, brilliant move, sir. Brilliant move. You want a salesperson to tell them to get your products and everything. From your own point of view, you said you're not going to promote anything, but you needed me to do that. So congratulations on that. There we go. So just a couple of things before we start is I am not going to stand behind this. I'm very short, for those of you that didn't notice. So when I stand here, I really look awkward with my bald spot on the side. And I can't stand still. I really move a lot around. I think that's the gist of it. You'll notice I've got a microphone here that always records when you put it on. Can I tell you guys how many times you regret having this thing record all the time? So you will come here, you'll do the prep, you'll go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden when you listen to the audio afterwards, you just be like, zzz, and you hear the business. When you stand around me and you see the red light on, please don't skin it about the other people, because I don't want to be in that position where I need to change anything. Okay, so Fortune didn't tell me that I'm not allowed to market my business, and I'm not going to, but I am going to tell you what we do and why we do it, and I am going to tell you about myself. And the reason for that is, there's one very good reason for that. In your life, whenever you open up doors for people to consult with you, it is always very valuable to understand their history and where they're coming from, to understand the point of view that they're giving to you. The biggest mistake people do is they welcome people in and they take everything that they say as that's the way it should be done because he's the expert on the field. No, he's coming from a place of his history, his business and everything, that he developed a strong opinion that can be motivated through anything out there on the internet, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the method you should go to, right? You don't copy and paste other people's method. You learn from it and see how you apply it in your own in your own way. And I mean, all these marketers will always tell you, when you sit around the table with them, they'll tell you, tell me about your business. Let's see how we can cater something around your business. So that's why I'm going to speak about that a bit. I tend to go over time a lot. So for that reason, just note that I didn't start late. Fortune started late. Okay? So please don't say, Dion spoke for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm only starting now. But that being said, I need a timekeeper. When I'm 30 minutes in, would you just raise your hand? Okay, I'll ignore you, and it's rude to interrupt people, so you can just leave the room. But it will really help me just at least to know, to keep track of where I am. I'm not going to present from behind the screen, so I'm going to jump around, push a button to go on. You don't need to follow what's going on screen. I didn't put all the content on there. It's just going to be topic-wise. And at any single given point, if you lost me, or if you stirred a thought or a question, please raise your hand and ask. I will create opportunity afterwards, and even with the social time, please come to me if you do have any questions. Fortune is paying for today, so it's free consultation. Every time you ask, I'll ask your business name and I'll just bill him, so it's 100% for free. But what you can do is, what's helpful is write down questions on your pages as you go. And see if it's answered later and then just revert back to that. I do ask, if you have a question, please just stand up, say your company name, say your name, and then go for the question. It just makes it way easier to address you accordingly. Okay. You don't need to give your pronouns. I'm old school. I'll go for Umintani in Dame and Yer. We'll go for that. Okay. And then the very last thing that I want to say is I am going to stick with my notes because I really do go over time. So apologies for not making eye contact all the time. That's not my style to do this. Usually when I get on stage, I put like my topic list there and I just speak from the heart. But there is a couple of things that I feel that needed to be addressed, and it's not my event, so I can't just go over my time. I really want to respect that here today. So the first thing that I want to say from XCAP side, Exemplo Capital, that's my company, is our why, how, and what, who we are. Okay, so why do companies work with us? The first thing, the reason why companies work with us is, from our point of view, we invest into their culture and into their employees, right? We work with the company culture and the employees before we even get to the strategic part of working with sales members. And the reason for this is we want to gain and give consistency in knowledge, what you're going to use when you apply it, right? Our why is our ethos. It is something very important. We always ask ourselves, why do we do what we do? Even before we start with the what and how. A lot of people will go out there and say, this is my company, I sell products, and now all of a sudden it's about the what. Or I sell products online and it's about the how. Now, just from a practical point of view, if your product changes in 1 week's time or a month's time or a year's time, all of a sudden your company has lost its identity, because everywhere you told people what you sell and how you sell it. But nowhere you told people why you do this in the first place. And if why is your number one agenda and your number one priority, everything else can change and your company can just continue as it was. No one would think, oh, you fly by night because yesterday you sold cell phone chargers and tomorrow you're selling anything else, but selling meat or whatever. They won't think you hypocritical because you've never been about your how and what, your why develop the rest. Make sense? So our why is very important to us. We believe that shaping an environment, strengthening its culture, and let's give a hand of applause for the latecomer. There we go. Now you don't need to feel awkward. There we go. So we believe that shaping an environment, strengthening its culture, and teaching skills as we do it allows for employees, leaders, and staff to find purpose in who they are and what they do. A culture with purpose thrives beyond today's obstacles. Our how? XCAP focuses on relationship first by understanding our clients' unique position, their unique offering, and their unique place in the market. Through this relationship, we can now get authentic or insight on the authentic obstacles to reveal the authentic opportunities within that space. We do this by our 8-step process. It's kind of like coming to rehab when we come to see you. There's a process that you need to do. Our process, and this is our what we offer, this is our product, is we audit what's going on in the company. We do a strength test. In other words, we put you to the test in the market and in your competition, your competitors. We then start by doing process development on how you can free up your time to actually do better business. And then we work with step 4, sustainable leadership development. Then only we move into sales training. We go to market valuation, and at step 7, we will then refer you or connect you to marketers. That will help you get a marketing traction plan, and we continue with continuous leadership development. That's us. So the third one is just shortly, literally, that's me. In short, I'm a registered business performance and life coach. I did my project management through the University of California, and enriched my studies with an MBA through the University of Illinois in America. I'm a keynote speaker. I do podcasts, and obviously I do sustainable leadership development and train skills for sales members. That's the gist of it. I've assisted tech startups to scale to VC rounds, that's venture capital rounds, and we are currently in the process of taking 2 companies that we consult with to unicorn status. It's a real term, by the way, you can Google it later. And then obviously our company, till date, I checked the facts last night, we've trained 2,386 sales members in in exactly 23 countries. Okay, so let's speak about today's agenda. Today's agenda, I want to speak of the synergy between marketing and sales, how to train salespeople effectively, because this is a masterclass, so you want something to take home, and the gifting experience. It's kind of like an exercise that we'll be doing. This purpose is to give you insight on certain areas and to give you a couple of practical things that you can do. Okay, you can, as I said, you can ask questions at any single time. So let's talk about the synergy of marketing. This is our start, by the way. Marketing has this very unique ability to tell a story through branding without any interaction to its audience, right? You don't need to interact with your audience. You can. There's different ways on how to do it, but you are able to tell a story without interaction. That's the gist of marketing. This allows a company to tell their story to a broader audience, meaning you can connect with people that's not yet your client, not yet your prospect, and not necessarily even knowing that they need your company. And then the hope for that is to obviously take that and funnel it into a clientele or leads process where you can sell your services or your products or your accommodation or whatever you do to that audience. So in the past, marketing was this, right? Marketing was pamphlets and printed flyers. In the old days, a lot of you would remember that, and there's a couple of faces that didn't even know that was what marketing was. Marketing was an advert saying, this is about to happen, and then they printed flyers for promotions or whatever, and this needed to be delivered by hand. So in the past, this delivery was done by a sales agent, right? Amway knocked on your door, they're like, listen, here's our brochure, and I'm the salesperson in charge of this. And you just said, okay, no, I don't want this. You can go along. But that was the trend. That's how it worked. The human interaction was done through a sales agent, not through marketing. But there's always been a synergy between the two. Sales needed to be the person that took it by hand. The second part is why this worked is that marketing as we know today never existed in the past. The power of marketing came through the digital age, through the digital era, through the world as we know today, through the internet and our mobile devices and everything that open up doors. But in the past, it wasn't like that. If you needed to find a business, you'll go through the yellow pages, and when you drive through, it was marketing's purpose and role to make sure there's a massive sign outside that you can see, aha, this is the company I was looking for, and that was marketing, right? And other than that, they developed their flyers and did their pamphlets, handed it to their sales agents, say, you need to go knocking on doors, you need to phone people from the phone book, and you need to go and give them this pamphlet, and then you need to do sales. And they never used that pamphlet. They looked at it, they folded it, and they put it in their man drawer, right next to all the batteries and remotes that you will never use in your life, but you refuse, because you're a man, you're not going to throw it away. So this is the thing. The one thing that remains from this is marketing and sales has always been developed to synergize, be in synergy with each other. It was always the purpose for marketing to add value to sales and sales to add value in marketing. If you go onto any corporate company out there and you look at their financials, they've got a division called sales and marketing, or marketing and sales. Then maybe you'll get something that breaks down. And only recently people started saying, listen, we don't need a strategy officer anymore. We want a CMO, a chief marketing officer, and a chief operations officer. There's no chief sales officer, and I'll get to the point why that is. And together they'll form a strategy of marketing and sales. So that completely changed. But the one thing that remained is that it has always been the purpose to be in synergy with one another, always. Marketing has grown stronger over the years, and it always will. The strength of marketing is, I think even after today, you won't even comprehend the strength of what marketing can do for your company. Whereas sales changed. Sales, as we know it today, is more of a relational thing. It's more of a customer success manager. They call sales managers nowadays customer success managers. Or they call sales agent customer success executives. They do that so that when people call you and say, listen, yeah, I'm a customer success manager or whatever from this company, you think, aha, they're there for me. And there's good reason for that, and the heart behind it is true, but people are climbing on this bandwagon just to not tell you they're busy trying to sell you something. Okay, so that term has completely fallen away. Sales, as we know it, sales as that person taking the deal to the table has completely lost it. Now, from a hospitality point of view, how many of you people actually do not have someone in your company that's in charge of sales? Okay. Yes, you do. There we go. High hands. There's a couple of that. Do you in your company have people that is in charge, whether it's yourself, of customer relations? Great. That is sales. That's the point I want to make, right? You don't have the person with a title as a sales agent anymore, and your business model is maybe not to go knocking on doors or calling people and say, please use us, but you've got a department that is responsible for looking after your clients, their needs, and that in today's era is the responsibility of sales. Okay, so let's have a look at the power of marketing. You guys are going to love me for saying this. So just keep in mind that I am in sales, I'm not in marketing, and I'm in leadership and culture development. But I always say this to people, the most powerful division in your company, more powerful than your sales, more powerful than your client relations, more powerful than your legal, more powerful than your accounting. The most powerful division in your company is marketing. You can do with all the others, and the workload will just be unbearable, and you'll need to outsource and use something. You might get to an area where, yes, we got a lawsuit, now I need to go and see a lawyer, but you don't need a legal division in your company. There's two divisions that your company definitely needs: marketing and human resources. That's the two that it needs, right? Let me put this in an example. When we think about marketing, the problem is our brain still thinks marketing is pamphlets. Our brain still thinks that marketing is putting out advertising, and that is what we do with marketing. Hence, because we're in that brain set or mindset, we don't comprehend or see the potential of marketing's power. So, if you're on social media, you 100% have seen this video. If you haven't, I'm going to give you the gist of it. This is not my analogy, but I love the analogy. So let's say a circus comes to town. Anyone have seen that video? In any case, I'm going to mention, let's say a circus comes to town, right? So you put up a huge sign to say, listen, the circus is coming to town. My in-laws are coming to visit. The circus is coming. That sign that you put up, that's advertising. That's advertising the circus that's coming. Now you take the elephant and you can get it to parade down the streets, like the Low-Fat Show has a whole campaign before that, and they put out a lacquer poster on its bum, let it walk through the streets and all the kids can see it and all the parents can see it. That's called promotion. Okay, so you've got advertising, you've got promotion. Now you get that elephant and it walks through the mayor's garden, and it just destroys his flower bed. He walks through that, and people start talking about it. The newspapers start writing about it. That is called publicity. Now you get the mayor to talk about his own experience of how he sees that. That is called public relations. And at the end of the day, you sit there at the event, whether you're selling tickets digitally or you have an actual booth or you do both, that is called sales. But operating this entire journey from start to finish, from the planning to the publicity to the public relations to the advertising, throughout everything, up until the actual selling of tickets, everything like that, that is marketing. That is the power of marketing. It is not only pamphlets. The problem is that's how we see marketing. We see it as pamphlets and advertising. Guys, I said this to Fortune and Hirsch the other day when we had a coffee. I said to them, you know what, when I consult with clients, the first thing that people cut in their budgets, because we need to revise our budgets and we need to cut costs and things like that, right? And we can't really cut on the customer experience because then the customer won't come back. But the first thing that we cut our budgets on is marketing. We call our marketing and say, I'm not going to use your services, or I'm just going to take that and post it myself, and that's the first thing that you're going to do to save costs. I'm going to tell you now, because there's so much power in marketing, if your marketer does not get you the results that you require, then fire your marketer and find someone else. Don't cut the budget. Get less salespeople. Don't get Dion. Get less salespeople, but don't cut your budget. Because marketing can actually sell a product. We've seen that in the analogy. You can, through a marketing event, you didn't use any sales agents for today. You posted it, you had your campaign, you maybe sent out promotions or content in person, so there was a sales aspect, but people were able to buy tickets for today. People were able to book tickets for your lodging or for your restaurants or anything like that. They're able to do that without an actual salesperson being there. And that's the power of marketing. The only thing is that marketing lacks a relational connection. But this doesn't mean it's relationally disconnected. So let's talk about the power of sales. Sales has got zero power. Okay, next topic. I'm just kidding. Okay, so sales has got zero powers, but it doesn't have zero powers. Sales does not have the power that marketing does. It's not meant in today's age to have that power anymore. For the mere fact that sales will always be and has always been intended for relational interaction throughout human interaction. That is the purpose of sales. That's why in the old days, salespeople went house to house is to build that relationship. That's why today the term has changed from sales to customer success or customer relations, because it is meant to be a relational thing. If you think about it for one moment, the car you bought, the phone you bought, everything, anything that you own, when you talk about it to people, in the beginning you'll talk just about the functions and your experience of the product and what's great, and yes, this campaign, and it's like I've got this. But when you do have a problem, your opinion will be directly linked in the way that they sorted out the issue for you. That's going to be your experience. Some of you might sit here and say BMW is the best car I ever bought, and you'll speak to Mercedes people and they'll completely disagree, and then 2-3 months later or 1-2-3 years later, you will have changed your opinion, either better or lower, depending on how the service agent treated you. There's a reason why we're sitting with massive brands. I can brand mention, not brand shame, brand mention. I drive a Toyota. And in the Lowveld, you can applaud, it's fine. It is the best car out there. We don't need to change the opinion. But my experience with where I take my Toyota to get service is 100% different to what I initially thought. 100%. And you can think about it. When you take your car in for a service, you would always say, take it to that place. And it won't necessarily be the place where you bought it. Sometimes it is. But it's all about that human interaction and the way that they treated you in that moment. Marketing has the ability to emotionally connect to its audience. Think about it. You've seen the studies, you know the famous brands, you know Coke, Nike, McDonald's, everything like that. They don't sell any products. They don't ever tell you this product is this amount in their marketing campaigns. They sell the emotion that comes through it. Coke sells joy and memories. If you think about it, all their campaigns is having Coke with someone. It's that moment, it's that feeling. Nike does a lifestyle. Athletes wear them, you should wear them. That's the lifestyle that they sell. And you might think about, okay, I can think of a different emotion that's perfect. That's the purpose of great marketing. McDonald's sells happiness in a box, okay? I don't choose when we go to McDonald's. My kids decide. It's got nothing, it works for them. It works brilliantly for them. They don't ever need to turn me. They just need to say to my kid, here's a lacquer box with some treats in, a toy in, and that whole experience. And all of a sudden, when we drive somewhere, my kid's like, we're going there. I'm like, we're not going there. We're going there. And we go there. So the emotional feeling is not because of the relational interaction, but all because of the emotional interaction. They connected with you emotionally and not physically. And that's marketing. That's why the number one rule of Instagram, as I understand it, is don't try and sell products on Instagram. It might even be applicable to other channels as well, but you'll see very important companies that manage that well, you won't even find a price, and sometimes not even a product that they're selling. Their campaign is to sell emotion, to get you emotionally connected in what they do. The problem with emotion on its own, if I speak through hospitality terms to you guys, is that we still operate companies that has got a human aspect to it. Okay? Your employees get sick. Sometimes they make mistakes. Sometimes they suck at their job. Sometimes they get sick. Sometimes, there's X, Y, Z. Every single week, as a company owner or manager, you'll be in the position where this is what you need to deal with. So if we go from a hospitality point of view and you say, okay, we're only going to sell through marketing, remember marketing's purpose is emotional selling. There's no human interaction. There might be some to an extent, but the purpose is you don't have that relational. It's not a back and forth communication. It's a, I say this and you experience that. That's what marketing is. And depending on how the entire audience reacts, I can now change my wording and to try something new, but it's still a one-time communication, and the experience is what you guys perceive it to be, right? So now if you take from a hospitality point of view, who here manages or owns restaurants? Okay, so there's a couple of people. Who can tell me the statistics? How many attempts does it take to get someone that enters your restaurant to call them a client? How many times do you need to impress them for them to be a client of yours? For them to tell their kids, we're definitely not going to McDonald's, we're definitely going there. Once. Okay? Want to hear the scary stat? A restaurant needs to impress the client 4 consecutive times. And then only the client will be, that's my restaurant that I'm going to. 4 consecutive times. If you mess up once, you need to get, first of all, that person back into your building, and you need to restart 4 consecutive times. That's why some restaurants, what they've done is they, instead of, or a part of their marketing budget, what they've done is said, listen, let's not give out massive promotions. Let's bring someone in and say, listen here, welcome. Is this your first time? Yes, it's our first time. Here's a steak, 100% on the house. And they make sure that person enjoys that steak. And then when they leave, they're like, have you tried the chicken that we do sell here? Next time, here's a 20% discount. So they don't give it for free. Massive discount, 50% discount. They come. The third time, they say, listen, how was the chicken? How was it? Was it brilliant? Was it great? There we go. Lekker. Here's a 10% discount next time you come to try our pudding, whatever. And then the fourth time, they just make sure that everything that the customer orders is there. When he leaves the fourth time, that entire experience cost the company 2,000 Rand to entertain that one person, but he's now a lifelong person of that restaurant. Every single time, that will be his number one choice to go to, take his family to, take his business to, and go there. You obviously can't do that with everyone, otherwise you're going to have like 2 million Rand a night that you need to do, right? So if you had the budget, I think it's brilliant, but I'm not giving you marketing advice. Don't take that from me. Okay, so it takes 4 times. Now think about this. A guest at your premises will be emotionally invested if you have a good marketing team and a marketing campaign. They'll be emotionally invested. They'll experience that pool that you photographed or videographed. They tasted that pina colada. Their mouth is watering for that steak, that view. Oh my goodness, I need to be there. What? Close to the Kruger, amazing. So whatever you sell, emotionally invested them, that gets the guest there. But now, the guest experience is completely in their hands, how they perceive this, first of all. And second of all, there's so much human error that can go wrong. That day, you had a massive campaign for the steak. That day, something happened to, you only do fresh meat. The person that delivered it had an accident. They don't bring your meat. It's nothing that you can do. You did nothing wrong. It's a once out of a moment, rare occasion. But that guest experience, or that guest came for that, how do you think they're going to experience when you say, sorry, what you came here for, we don't do today? When I go to a restaurant, the first thing when I sit down is I tell the waiter, I tell them, listen here, before I look at the menu, what's unavailable? They don't teach people that. That's the most basic. I don't take offense if you come to me and say, Dion, yes, your menu, but sorry, this and this and this and this is unavailable for today. I don't judge them at all. I'm like, I understand business. It's 100% fine. But they don't do that. You sit there like, look at it for half an hour. The kids are starting shouting and running to the table the whole time. I love my kids. Moments of it. And I love being a father, let's rather say that. But it does come with its ups and downs, so my restaurant choices are bound with them. But in any case, so what happens is when I looked at it for 40 minutes and they tell me what I wanted is not available, guys, done. Like, there's moments that I will just stand up and leave. It's like, you could have said this to me when I sat down, and it would have been a complete different thing. And that is what customer, or what sales is teaching the people that soft skills to literally just cater for the person or the guest's experience, to serve them, to look at it from a servitude point of view. And that's at the end of the day, that is the synergy, because sales is meant to be relational. If you think about it, I just want to say, I actually do mention it on the next one here. So the human aspect builds relationship, and it offers servitude where marketing cannot. That's the purpose. But there's a massive synergy because you need both in that thing. Now, this is the other thing. Take note what companies do wrong. They say, okay, what is customer relations? Customer relations is handling complaints. When you hire people, that's the first thing that you put on the requirements is you need to be able to handle complaints. Okay, business 101. You never negotiate from a point of weakness. In other words, if your sales and your customer journey and relational from a human aspect is only to handle it when the complaint comes in, you're negotiating from a point of weakness. Meaning they've got complete control. They can tell you, listen, I'm running to social media if I don't get a free room. And heck, we gave in for that. But if we change our mind to sales not being risk management, to being servitude, we start being proactive in how we serve our clients, because then it's not about me, and my business. It's about them. It's about, what did you come here for today? So what did you come here today? Can I offer you something? Can I do this? Where can I help? If you do have a problem, why don't you just want to bring it to my attention? And then all of a sudden, because they've got this emotional connection, if and when, especially long-term clients, they will encounter problems. Problems will happen. It's natural. Don't think it won't. It will happen. But because there's that relationship, they turn to you and they don't run away, and they just say, listen, I was kind of disappointed last night. I come here a lot, the food, it wasn't up to standard. And you can have a conversation with them, you can apologize, you can do whatever your policy says, but the truth be told is just because there's a relationship, they will come back for that. They will give you another shot. And if you fail on the same thing twice in a row, then obviously there's something that you need to address as a manager or company owner. And this allows us, from a sales point of view, to always negotiate from a place of strength, regardless if it's from a negative input that's coming in, but you can negotiate from a place of strength. Why? Because we have a relationship. I know you know this is not our standard. I know you know this was a one-time thing. So I'm in the strength there to back my company and say, you had a bad experience, let's sort that out, but you know this is not how we do business. And all of a sudden, it's negotiating from a place of strength. It costs you even less to sort out that issue in the long haul. Right. So, sales is relational, and it is coming from a culture of servitude. So, where are we now? There we go. I think I missed a slide. Yeah, the power of sales. No, I didn't. Don't worry about it. Okay, so let's go to sustainable sales. Yeah, I did say that, sustainably. Sustainable sales teams. Okay, so when we talk now completely breaking away from marketing, they can later on defend what I said or discriminate. Can I come back after you guys just to say if you... Because it's unfair that I go first and you guys can say what you want after this. It's emotion from marketing. You guys get me emotional. So let's switch back to sales only. Okay, so sales are defined as the human or team in charge of the relational interaction, regardless of the title. That is sales. And it's obviously the person selling items, right, from your brand or from wherever. So don't say that person is not in sales. If you're selling something, they're in sales. And the purpose of this is really to create a sales team and even a marketing team that is sustainable. You don't want to be great today. You want to be better every day. That's the thing. It is that sustainability and consistency of what you offer. So many people will go and they will have a smashing moment. And they will claim it and say, listen here, we had the best month ever, and then next month, nothing. That's because they achieved for such greatness that they never focused on how can we sustainably keep on building on this. So guys, it is all about each day better than the previous. So let's give you some practical insights for free today. So here's a couple of practical points to create sustainability in sales members. The first one is a company culture. Okay, company culture is everything. Most times, the company culture organically reflects the founder or the manager or the person running the company. The way that they do it sets out a tone for other people, and that becomes the company culture. And people usually would say, they'll do this, sell a restaurant, and their marketing campaign is under new management, because they knew people complained about the old ones, so the selling point is just the culture. Don't be that person. Your team culture, your company culture should be everything. Culture is something that people, I can tell you now this for a fact without talking about religion. Culture is stronger than any religion. Any religion. Don't believe me? Stuck at an airport. They tell you, listen here, there's 5 people that you can, international airport overseas, there's 5 people that you can take with you to get out of here on a plane. You would look around, and not once would you ask, who's got the same beliefs as I do? Or the same, if you're a Christian, you won't stand there, I want 5 Christians, please. Or maybe if you're a Christian, you won't go, I want 5 non-Christians, please, so we can have that chat on the plane. Not once. You look there and you see, where's South Africans? Raise your hands, 20 of them. Who likes rugby? 5 of them, you. You don't know if it doesn't matter. Culture is stronger than religion. It always will be. Your culture in your company is everything. A company culture is the number one thing to focus on. So if you don't know what your company culture is, go back to the drawing board, because people need to say, if you ask your employees, this is as you tested, what's the culture you like at my company? And if they're not consistent through their answers, because they'll tell good stuff just to get good points, but if the answer is not consistent, you're like, okay, our culture is not clear. We need to sort that out. Your culture needs to be good in the eyes of God. I'm not going to preach here today, but God loves business, period. It needs to be inclusive for everybody. Your culture needs to be there for your employees. They need to feel part of that family. Your culture needs to focus on optimism within realism, meaning so many people are blindly optimistic, which is poisonous. They'll just say, no, it's no problem. It will be great. That's poison. What you want is optimism within realism. Someone that says, listen, or team or culture that says, listen, we've got obstacles today. This is going to damage us. We're going to lose a client. We're going to lose a deal. We're going to lose something. There's problems. There's obstacles. But if we work together as a team, we will get out of this. That is optimism and realism. Knowing that when the culture and the team works together, you will see a better future for that. A company culture needs to be a place where everyone can contribute for the greater good, for the well-being of the company and its employees. People need to be a great human being within your culture. It needs to bring out the better of them. And then the last thing on company culture is your value system, because we've got values, right? We post it on our social media, on our website. We say, this is our mission and vision statement. These are our values. If that contradicts with your culture, then you've got issues. Let me give you an example. One of my favorite authors out there, keynote speaker, Simon Sinek, he consulted with a company called CVS Health. Now, CVS Health, between them and Walgreens, they're the biggest pharmacy retailers in the United States. So what they did is obviously, like every single copy and paste mission and vision statement of any pharmacy company, they said, we're here for the health of our people. That's what it boils down to. And then they consulted with them. Not on that matter. They built a journey together and they asked him a couple of pointers. And he says, let's start with your culture and your values. Great place to start. That's why we also start there as well. So let's start about your culture and your values. So bringing to culture and values, he said, let's read your vision statement or your value system on your website. And they're like, this is what we believe. It's for the good and better health of our employees. Or not our employees, our clientele. And it's like, interesting, you sell cigarettes. And they're like, yeah, every pharmacy is allowed to do that. And he's like, I'm not here to talk about good or bad of health at all. So don't worry, don't get nervous. That's not the angle. But he said to them, your statement and what you sell, what you offer your clients, doesn't agree. So either just remove your statement and keep on selling that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong in selling that. If there's a demand for it, sell it. There's nothing wrong with it. Or if you truly believe that's your vision statement, aligning with your company culture, you need to drop that product. Now imagine that. What did they do? They went and said, okay, across the United States of America, we are the biggest pharmacy group. We're going to stop selling this. What happened to their stock? Plummeted. Where is it today? Higher than ever before. Because people realized in that company culture, they mean what they say. They mean what they sell. Then the third thing is value-based recruitment. Now, value-based recruitment is very important, guys. Value-based recruitment works like this. When we go out and we advertise a position, what do? We prioritize experience and skill set, and that's the person that we hire. I can tell you, and I've always said it, you can teach anyone, and I don't mean it hypothetically, anyone to be a doctor. Anyone, a doctor. Some people will just take 40 years and not be a great doctor, but still, I'll get them through that school. I'll get them to pass that exams. They will be certified as a doctor. But the problem is, we forget that company culture is so strict. And what do we know about cultures? If you're in a foreign country, if you've traveled before, you feel foreign. You don't relate to, why do they do this? We always say, why do they do this? Why do they do this? And we get offended when people say, why do we eat biltong and rusks and love rugby? It's our cultures. Stop it. Right. And so when you do recruitment, keep this in mind. Recruit people that matches your company culture. If they lack the skill sets and you've got the resources, then train them the skill sets. You can teach anyone to be polite, to smile. You can teach people to think out of the box. It will maybe just cost you a lot of time. That's why I said you need to have the resources. But you can't let people feel foreign or welcome in the culture based on something that you will do. Okay. Then the last thing is, or the third thing is infinite mindset. When you have a sales team and a sales company and creating this culture, talking about how to create it sustainably, what you want to do is you want to create a culture of having an infinite mindset. Now, quickly going to explain this, and it's a well-known theory. In the mid-1980s, a professor with the names of James Cars defined infinite and finite games as the following. Finite is determined by known players, known objective, clear winner, in a known time, a known period, everything is known. That's finite. To give you an example, a rugby game, a football game, everything like that is finite. There's known players, a clear objective. The objective is to win. Known players, you know the players need to be equal on both sides, and that is finite. Infinite can be known and unknown players. The objective is not to win or lose. The objective is to stay in the game as long as possible. Anyone can enter the game at any single time, and anyone can leave the game at any single time. Now, between finite and infinite, which one sounds like business? Infinite. That defines business to the T. But the problem is, when we do business, we do it from a language of finite. Why? I'm the winner of this here space, whatever. Based on what metrics? Who set out the rules? What did you win? You can't win career, you can't win life, you can't win business. When you close down, your competitors, maybe in the short run, would fix them, but they didn't win anything. They didn't now all of a sudden go, congratulations, you will never close down because they closed down. That's not how it works. And we do that through our sales members. Our objective is to kill the other people. We need to be better than them. We need to be better than them. We need to be better than this. They brought out this campaign. We need to do this. That's the language we speak. Guys, if you're in that language space, it's great for the finite. It's great for the short term. It will not matter 5 years, 10 years along the line, because when new competitors come in, they don't know about you, they don't look at you, they focus on their own thing. And the objective is to stay as long as the game as possible. So we need to start changing our mindsets with that. I've done a whole keynote just on the topic So if you want to know more, it's really, I think it was a 3-hour keynote just on that topic. And the purpose of a company that is infinitely invested is they have purpose over motivation. In very short, I want to say this. When people say, Dion, can you do motivational speaking? I was like, I do not do motivational speaking. Motivation is short term. It doesn't stick. You will go to a webinar, Bill Gates will be the speaker. Your favorite author will be the speaker. Elon Musk will be there. Everyone will be there. You would walk out the door and you'll feel, I can take over this world. And then tomorrow you're back in the same loop as what you were and nothing changed. But when we have purpose over motivation, the short term doesn't matter anymore. Because I strive to achieve something regardless of the obstacles that I have now. And that's the culture you should have, and that's the mentality that your salespeople will have. So I was in the unfortunate position with companies that needed to close down or not pay their employees. That was a 2 option. Every single person that was there for motivation left. Understandingly so. They didn't do anything wrong. Every single person that felt that they had purpose in that company said, you know what? It's fine, I'll stick. I'll maybe have to get an income somewhere or whatever, but I'll stick around for some of the meetings, for the debrief, for the planning. I'm invested in this company. And we do that thinking that money is purpose, giving people purpose, is motivating them. And please, you can pay them well, pay them great, it's amazing. But if your purpose is only through your remuneration to an employee, they would always just say, but I got a better offer somewhere else, and they would leave. Right? Because that's the motivation. But if you give them purpose, like ownership in your company, not necessarily actual, but ownership, like taking pride of this is what you built, this is your range, this is you. All of a sudden, the motivation will come up every now and then that they say, listen, I need to have this discussion, but they will be purposefully invested in what you do and what your company does. So often, the last one, servitude and relationship, and then we're going to do 2 exercises and I'm done. So, servitude and relationship, I once again want to emphasize on how important this is. When companies get me in, they usually get me in for 2 reasons. Like either they want to innovate, so they see the value of building this culture and working with their sales teams, or they want me to come in and say, ons het probleme. There's an issue that you need to sort out, we're not getting it sorted out. And when I sit at the table, the first thing that people usually say in conversation is they say this to me, they say, how can we get clients to come back or more clients to come? Or they would say, Dion, what can we do together to get clients to come back or more clients to come? And I was like, very simple. And then all of a sudden they're happy because it's going to be a very short bill at the end of the day. And it's never a short bill. And and I'll tell them what I tell every single one of them. If you can answer me this question, you can figure it out yourself. The question, as I said in the beginning, is not the why and not the what and the how, but the why. Why should they come back in the first place? Why should new people come in your doors? Now, having that mindset, all of a sudden, it's not about what you do, it's all about what they need. And it changes the mind completely. So, 2 last things from my side, then I'm within my hour. So I want you to read the following statement and count the F's, okay? So I'm going to read it. You can read it with me, and then you count the F's with me. How many F's can you find in this? And it says, finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of many years. Okay. Who counted 3? 3. Who counted 4? Anyone 4? Who counted less than 3? Let's just start there. So maybe you should get your eyes checked. Okay, so 3 and 4. Who counted 5? Anyone? No. Who counted 6? Okay, so let's do this together. Finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with experience of many years. Sorry? Right. So this was one of my professors, Matt Abrams. He's a lecturer on MBA, and he uses this for various other communications. It's a fun exercise that you can do. You can find your own conclusion. But the concept the analogy that I want to use today is this goal was to educate you on how many F's there are, right? And some of you didn't even give an F, but that's a joke. That's a joke. But, okay, so this is what I want to say on this. Marketing, the objective was to hand out 6 F's or come out with something that presented F's for this scenario. Marketing would have taken that and said, listen here, we're building something to deliver this message of 6 F's, to find the 6 F's. What the client experiences is completely in his hands. You guys were the clients now. You saw what you wanted to see. You saw 3, 4, some of you said, I'm willing to give it another shot, let's go back. It wasn't completely in your hands. I couldn't train you to see it differently. Sales is what I'm doing now, is to say, listen here, I'm reminding you of the objective. You missed the ofs, most probably. Let's see the value of it. If I say finish file or the result, years scientific study combined with the experience many years, you're like, what did you say? And that is what sales is at the end of the day. It's that relationship to say, listen guys, the emotion that was out there from marketing, how you experience it, they cannot control. I cannot control it. My company has an effect on it, but from a relational point of view, I can take you through that journey on what was the objective, what did you experience, and how did you handle it. Now the very last one that I want to do, and then I'm done, Fortune, promise. So if you look, so most of you are 3 on a table, so choose someone that won't participate, but if you 2 on a table, you will participate. So this is what I want you to do. It's called the gift-giving exercise. The gift-giving exercise. So I want you to sit and decide who's the giver and who's the receiver. Now here's the objective. It's very easy. How do you give a gift? How do you receive a gift? Okay, it's like this. Now, I want you to do the following. The giver is not going to say what's inside. The giver is just going to do this. The giver's got the easy work. This. You're going to give the gift. The receiver's going to take that gift and in that moment going to open it up and say, well, thanks for my, and you're going to say the first thing that comes to mind. It doesn't need to fit in the box. Thanks for whatever. But you're going to say, well, thanks for my XYZ, and then the giver's going to respond and say, you're welcome. This is the reason why I gave it to you. Simple exercise. Right? Very fast. Are we ready? You can face each other. If you alone at the table, you can match up with someone else. You can quickly move. That's fine. Okay. If you're done, you can just go sit at your place so I can wrap up for us. Okay, so now I've got a quick question. How many of you, as I spoke, already thought of what you're going to say thanks for? Like already thought of your gift beforehand. Yet that was clearly not the objective. The objective was in the moment, you need to react with the first thing that comes to mind. But this is a clear example of how marketing works. Marketing can wrap up that box as beautiful as they want. And they can say, we want them to experience this when they open up. But the consumer's mind doesn't follow by the rules. They can come with expectations on this is what I want to receive when I receive it, or in the moment they can perceive it differently. Both of them are elements that marketing cannot control. So, the conclusion to this is marketing is wrapping up and sending a gift. Customer journey is opening up the gift to your expectations, the expectations from the recipient and not from the giver. And sales is the moment and the reaction to the expectation and building on that to add the value that marketing presented it with. That is what sales is at the end of the day. I think I'm not going to take your time with questions. I'd rather stick around because I stuck to an hour. I'm not over my time, but I'm over my question frame. So if you can kindly keep your questions when we're outside or things like that, that would be great. But I want to give the floor back to you guys. So thank you so much.